Hey everybody, Riot Mort here, and it is the first day of Horizonbound, our final mid-set for Runeterra Reforged on PvE, and you know what that means. I haven't had time to stream it because it's not the weekend, so you get the pre-recorded videos of me talking a bunch and telling you all about the set. And right away we're going to start off with one of the new portals, the Slaughter Docks. Gain free shop rerolls at the start of each stage, and this works out great because I came into this game with Caitlyn, who I think is incredibly strong on this portal, and so this is something I was looking forward to. Also, help me out here, instead of Slaughter Docks, I like to call it Laughter Docks. It's just funnier to me, but we'll see here. So, going into the game, the way this works is on stage 2, you're going to get 3 rerolls. On stage 3, you're going to get 4 rerolls, etc. And so with those extra rerolls, you're going to be able to build a very strong board. Now, the reason I like Caitlyn on this is if you get Stars Are Born, you can use those free rerolls to guarantee that you're going to get a 2-cost champion to spike off of, and so it can be a really powerful combo here. It's one of those portals that does work well with a certain legend. But also just everyone getting those rerolls does lead to some strong boards here. Now, right away, we've got a Demacia start here. Poppy has now been buffed. Now that Poppy's not a Yordle, she got a bunch of extra power, so that should make her quite a bit better. You can actually get some cool 2 Bastion front lines now if you want to play around that. We've got the Alawi, who's a 2nd Bastion here. Item-wise, nothing too great here. We're probably not building a Hurricane. We've got possibly an Invoker line. We've got this Demacia line going here. Now, one other big change I want to talk about is Demacia. Demacia, the items are not random anymore. So you'll notice I have Kale here. Kale got a Radiant Ginsu's. Kale is going to get a Radiant Ginsu's every single time. So you can count on that now, and now there's not this weird fight variance where sometimes you get, you know, remember Lux with the sometimes Morello, sometimes blue buff? No more. So that should make Demacia pretty good. We get a 2nd Ginsu's here if we want to play around it. And sure enough, Caitlyn, we get a gold augment here, so I'm looking at Stars Are Born going, this is going to be great. Right away, I have a Swain, and there's another... I could have 5 Swains here. I like the idea of 5 Swains. Let's grab 5 Swains, and we still have those rerolls. That's 5 Kales. So now I have 5 Kales, 5 Swain... Excuse me, 6 Swains. Okay. Seems pretty good, and I've still got some rerolls. Oh, okay. So it's going to be one of those games where I have 7 Kales, 6 Swains on 2-1. So that clearly gives us some direction here. If we can natural a Kale 3 without really having to roll for it, seems pretty good. Yeah, so pretty happy with that. Cool. I don't have any gold to level, but you know. Now, Swain has been reworked, by the way, and I want you to watch this combat here. Swain casts, and you'll notice he's now not mono-locked. He can cast again to gain even more health. So we'll see if this Swain has enough here. Yep, gains some more health, and so he can keep going. Now, he has been nerfed slightly to compensate for that, but the general idea is he should be a little weaker in stage 2, not quite as dominant, but 3-star Swains that are actually itemized should feel a lot stronger, and he should scale very well with things like Sorcerer to hopefully help the Sorcerer line have a real tank that you can play around. So that should be pretty interesting. Look forward to trying out different ways to make Swain good. From what I hear, day 1 at least, Demon Flare is probably insane right now. So if you want to try that on PvE and just before it gets nerfed or anything, if it does, give it a try. So, all right, well, right now, since we have 7 Kales and 6 Swains, we're clearly going to be re-rolling. Looking at what items I can build off of this cloak, something like Adaptive Helm, our new item that replaces Chalice, could be really good on this Swain on the front line. And because it's PvE, we know a lot of people are going to be playing a lot of the new stuff. You see, so far, both of our opponents have been Bilgewater, playing off that Misfortune, who right now is very powerful. And early Bilgewater is just good because those cannonballs have that flat damage component, and that flat damage component is very valuable here. So sure enough, we're going to win this combat, though. Feels good with the 2 2-star Swains. Makes sense. You would hope we can win these. So overall, feeling good. All right, level 4. We have an Orianna 2 we could play, or we could try to play Demacia. Now, again, you see Kale gets a Radiant Ginsu's every time. So pretty cool there. Now here, it's one of those tough decisions where what is the strongest board? Do you play these 1-stars, or do you put in 2 Sorcerer with the Orianna 2 and have a full 2-star board, but no Radiant item? And so this time I think I'm going to take the risk here and play around this. Maybe spread the Swains out so they're not getting hit with that MF ult together like they have been the last few times. And sure enough, our opponent is level 5 here, has that MF and that 3 Bilgewater, which has been really strong in the early game we've seen. So Swains get their cast off, but this time spreading out helps make sure that both the Swains aren't taking the damage. Swain gets another cast off. That's awesome. And yep. By the way, there's some really cool builds, by the way, with this Swain. If you get something like Spirit Visage, where because his max health keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, you can keep regenning more and more and more. So again, I think this version of Swain is like the same version, but just more fun. So we'll see. But again, I also can't argue with starting with 6 Swains, right? Am I right? All right, item-wise, like I said, we'd love a tier for that adaptive helm. Don't get the tier, unfortunately. We could play Dragon Claw, which, much like Spirit Visage, a little weaker, has that health regen that can make Swain really strong. So maybe we just get the Cloak here. Armor would also give us Gargoyle, but we don't get the armor. We're probably not building Even Shroud here, so we're going to go ahead and take the Cloak. Even Shroud gives you that armor penetration, that Sunder, but we don't really need that right now because we're playing a Kale. So gonna go ahead and probably slam the Dragonclaw here. And again, if we lose, we can just sell the Soraka. Taric is a little stronger than an Orianna here, I think, because Kale's doing most of our damage anyway. Gives us the 2 Sorcerer, a little bit stronger front line. So we are going to go ahead and slam that. Try to see if we can get lucky and keep win streaking off this, because if we could somehow full win streak off of a Kale start, that'll be really good. Opponent-wise, though, what we're up against here is 5 Bilgewater. Now, again, if Bilgewater's good early, 5 Bilgewater right now, because so much of the power is in the flat damage, very good in the early game. And you can see here, my Swain gets burst down pretty quick. Might be some balance adjustments to do on Bilgewater, because I think in Stage 2 in particular, it is just so good. So we are going to lose here, which is fine. Again, we're playing a Kale. They're up a level on us. We would expect to lose this. So all good. We find our 8th Kale and our 7th Swain. So no complaints there. Now, because we lost, we could try to hit 30 gold here, sell the Taric, sell a Galio if we wanted. Kind of a tough choice here. But yeah, you can see on the damage meters there, Bilgewater doing a lot. So definitely something to look out for in the early game as you're testing PvE. So keep an eye on it. Let us know what you think. All right, again, and we know Bilgewater very contested. Now, kind of interesting here, if you look at their augment, they have the new support item augment, and the support item they got was Zerat Portal. So Zerat Portal's back, but it works a lot like the Radiant Zerat Portal, where it summons it at the start of combat instead of later, so it taunts pretty early. Now, thankfully, they're only level 4. A lot of their board is 1-star, and so we were able to overcome it, even with the Zerat Portal here. So cool. All right. Let's see here. All right, we hit the Galio 2 here. We also hit the Quinn. Now, Quinn is really big in this comp now because Quinn gives you 2 Slayer and is a Demacia, so it works really well. And now you can see we can play the Swain. We play the Quinn for 2 Slayer. We get our Radiant item, and this now feels like our strongest board. We can sell the Taric to hit 30 if we want. But now that we're at 8 Kales, I have to imagine with the rerolls we're about to get from Laughter Docs that we can just, you know, roll that down. So, all right, thankfully we don't have to sell the Taric if we don't want. We get a sword. Something like a Gunblade on this Kale could be really good if we're going to get a very tanky Swain later. We probably don't want to slam Infinity Edge, so that's not looking ideal. A little low on the item count, but that's okay. Only 30 gold to roll with, but again, it's because we had to spend so much on these Swains. So we're going to roll down, at least try to find the Kale. We find our 8th Swain. Okay, and there's our Kale. So now we can just level up. We hit Kale. We still have 30 gold, and we're at 8 Swains. This is a great position to be in. And right now we also have the Sona, so as soon as we can get to level 6, We're going to have our Kale powered up. We're going to have 5 Demacia. This is a great start. 1 off of Swain 3. I like it. All right, up against a Noxus board. There's some of our Swains, though. Shame. That's okay. Now, Quinn is an interesting champion. Obviously, it's a Quinn one with no items, so it's not going to do a lot here. But you'll notice Quinn will try to cast and hit as many enemies as she can with Valor, and then shoot a bunch of extra damage. And while they're marked, they'll take even more damage, kind of like Lysandra. So Quinn can be both a sort of utility champion, pumping up the damage of others, but also can be a pretty strong offensive carry with AD items, things like Last Whisper, Hurricane, stuff you might normally put. Now, we don't want Knowledge Download. Big Sword, not so much. I probably should have taken Contagion here, but I don't. And now we're in this awkward position where Slayer's Resolve is not really great if we're playing Demacia. Social Distancing isn't good because I need my Demacian elites to be touching to share their armor. So I'm probably going to go Silver Ticket. Now, the positive of Silver Ticket is at least it interacts with Laughter Docs, so I'll get even more rerolls, but definitely not ideal here. So we level up 20 gold. Level 6, 20 gold is a pretty standard spot to be, so the fact that we already have Kale 3 in this position is great. We can just sort of econ back up from here. We've got the power of this Kale, so yeah. All right, up against a Bilgewater opponent, most things looking 1-star. This should be a pretty easy fight, I have to imagine. Sure enough, yeah, not even close. Cool. All right, and so now, like I said, we're pretty powerful, just hoping to find this Swain 3 and then keep on leveling. So build up our economy here, and the fact that Kale is at level 6 should put us in a good spot. Best item we can get, by the way, is probably Gunblade to keep that Swain alive. Now, it's interesting, you look at, there's a Kiana and a Mordekaiser here, so we could go 4 Slayer, 3 Demacia instead if I wanted to play around the Mordekaiser and the Kiana. However, I don't think I have the items for Mordekaiser here. I'm really a big fan of RFC on Mordekaiser, and I don't have that right now. So for now, I think I'm going to stick with the front line that 5 Demacia gives me. We've got that Radiant Warmog that Galio gives. But yeah, should be pretty solid here. Up against a player who's level 7, 0 gold, but last stand. Has that Misfortune 2, which is really scary. So hopefully we can power through this. Our front line should be good, but man, that Misfortune can dish out the damage. But again, we kind of got lucky with this Kale 3. And we have Slayer active. So this should make Demacia a pretty easy comp to play for those of you that really like the easy verticals. Just buy the Demacian units, get that Kale 3 level up here. Now again, obviously some things went very right for me to hit Kale 3 with this much econ, but yeah, should be solid here. All right, as we head to the carousel, again, we're 92 health last pick. A Rod would be ideal, but it's on a Zir, so probably not getting that. We don't normally like Thieves' Gloves in a Demacia comp because it means that person's not going to be able to be an elite anymore. There is a Fiora there. We could grab the belt. That gives us our Fiora as we work towards 7 Demacia. Now, because we're playing Swain, we're going to want Jarvan for sure for 2 strategists. But yeah, again, just mostly working about building up our econ back up here. We're level 6. Hopefully we can find that Swain pretty quick and then keep on going. Now, if I wanted pure damage, by the way, for this Kale, Guardbreaker is an amazing option here. Actually, there's definitely an argument that Guardbreaker could have been the play here. It would have just made my Kale do much more. Guardbreaker now gives more attack speed, so even the attack speed's not a wasted stat anymore. So that'd be pretty good, but that would leave me with a sword in an awkward place, and it's not like I can build Zeke's anymore now that Zeke's is a support item. So up against a Bilgewater comp here. Nothing too crazy though. It's only 5 Bilgewater, and our front line's pretty well established now. Galio being really tanky with that Radiant Warmogs. It's looking a little close because I was grouped up, but Kale's ramped up now. Should be pretty solid here. Sweet. All right, things are good. Hopefully the silver ticket can help us find Swain 3 quickly. Lobby looks a little lopsided right now between me and Radis Chipmunk. Silver ticket proc. Grab the Quinn. We're probably not going for Poppy 3. We don't really need that. And this isn't like Kale builds of old, right? I can't make Poppy into a Poppy 4-star or anything. That's not a thing. So, by the way, if you've been watching the video so far, you may have noticed a bug where sometimes the 2 Ginsus, only one of the numbers was counting up here. So I spend some time watching the fight and the numbers to try to make sure if it's actually working correctly. And the good news is it's just a visual bug. I'm still getting the full attack speed from both of my Ginsus here. And I can verify that, yep, plus 12%, plus 12, 24, plus 12, yep. So everything's good. Although in this example, the number isn't, they're both stacking. But overall, we checked that, and just a visual bug that we'll have to fix. Up against a Silco, but it is a Silco 1 here. Able to burn through it, no problem. And so level 6, 50 gold. We're in a good spot. If we can just find the Swain 3, we can move on. Now, I am a little committed to the Swain here, so I'm going to go ahead and level. There's also a debate here where I should have rolled, maybe try to find Galio 3 as well to go with the Swain. But if I can level up to 8, we can get in that 7 Demacia, which will make us even stronger, give that extra armor and MR to everybody. So, items-wise, you can see Sterix is also an option here, but Sterix is really good on someone like Fiora or someone with a very high health pool like Rek'Sai, but not really for Kale or anything like that. So, hey, we got our Gunblade. That's great. And we got a Warmogs. That's also great. Not too shabby. All right, so we get our rerolls from Laughter Docks. 2 Galios. Okay. Another Galio. Not going to complain. Okay, we're getting... Okay. Do we just get Galio 3 here? Yes, we do. Okay, it's just that easy, apparently, when you're me. Gonna go ahead and level. We make sure Galio counts as the strongest. And now we have a Galio 3 with a Radiant Warmogs. We've got our Swain 3. We're level 7. All we really need is a Jarvan and go to 8. And we still need the Swain 3. But now Galio, like, if I had to, I could actually just sell the Swain, move the items over to Galio, and I'd be in a solid spot. But you know me. I like to greed for some of those 3 stars here. So... All right, what's our augment going to be? Silver, gold, or prismatic? Now, at this point, I'm feeling really good. We have the 3-star Galio, the 3-star Kale, and plenty of Econ to work with. If Kale doesn't work here, Kale's not very good. Oh, prismatic. Endless Horde, probably not. I don't have emblems, so it's not like I can go 9 Demacia. Tactician's Tool's a little weak. Rolling for Days. Now, Overwhelming Force got buffed, and I could use those items on Quinn. Impenetrable Bulwark, I could literally just put those on Gal... But I mean, it's an egg, and I'm win streaking. So maybe we just play around egg. I'm down to play around egg. What do you guys think? Now, Impenetrable Bulwark was probably the right choice here. It's stronger. I put both the items on Galio. I get an extra armor. It was probably the safe choice, but it's PBE. Come on. I gotta build the egg, right? 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 I think so. I think so. The TFT team shipped another set now, and it's going to be fun for players. We just worked really hard for you. All right, things are good. Now remember, every win we can get is +2. We are up against people who have a prismatic augment, so wins are going to be a little tougher. And this Misfortune with Bilgewater is cranking. Thankfully, Kale pumping out the damage. God, it's really close, though. Whew, that Gunblade did work. And you can see Misfortune right now, very strong. A lot of damage. So again, if you're looking for something to play on day 1 of PBE, Misfortune seems pretty good. All right, so we find a Quinn here. That's pretty nice. Again, we'd love to find a Jarvan or a Swain. Nothing crazy here, because as soon as we find a Jarvan, we just slam levels and go to 7. That's going to give us 2 more elites and 10 more armor and MR, which will be great. And again, I love that Demacia now isn't random, personally. The fact that I can always count on this Galio to have Warmogs, which means I know I can always itemize him with like Bramble and Dragonclaw and not have to worry about the randomness of sometime being too low health or anything like that. Feels really good. All right, we're up against a Last Stand player and another Misfortune. I feel like because we're up against so many Misfortunes, the fact I built this Dragonclaw, really helpful. But I also need to spread out. Misfortune kind of keeps beating our tanks because they're all nice and clumped. Thankfully, Kale is ramped. Whew. A little closer than I would have liked, but we get another win. If we keep winning, this egg is going to cash out pretty quick. Doom doom doodly doodly doo. Boom. Boom boom. Boom boom. Now, the sad thing here is Glove is one of the components that doesn't have a lot of tank items that you can build into it. So if I'm looking for something for frontline, I might actually have to avoid my glove for a little while. Try to just grab like a belt or a cloak even. Or even the armor. The armor's looking pretty good here. If we can get like a bramble. Yeah, so grab a 4-cost armor. That's pretty solid. We're not going to build the guard breaker, but it gives us something that we can use with the anvil that we're going to get on 4-7. Even like a sunfire if we wanted it. So we get our rerolls here. Okay, gonna level. Because we have the egg, we kind of want to level and keep it going here. Now, right now, we're in this kind of awkward position where I can't go 7 Demacia because I don't have Jarvan. But what I can do with this Mordekaiser and Rek'Sai is slap them in for a bit and at least run 5 Demacia, 4 Slayer for now. So that's going to make the Slayer buff a little better on this Kale, pump out the damage until I find this Jarvan. Now, I still haven't found the Swain, which is a little disappointing considering how many we started with. But I can't complain, right? I got the Kale, I got the Galio. Complaining here would be silly. We're up against another Bilgewater comp with a 1-star Xayah. The Xayah built Ginsu's. I'm telling you, do not build Ginsu's on Xayah. That is not the right item build. She spends a lot of her time casting. Don't build that. You want full AD on her. Even Shojin's better than Ginsu's in my opinion. But usually it's something more like IE, Deathblade, stuff like that. Alright, and again, because we want this golden egg to cash out, we're going to keep rolling here. There's our Jarvan. Okay, now because we have our Jarvan, we put in 7 Demacia. I think that's a lot better than 2. And we're going to make sure our Radiant items are where we want them by switching out Strongests. Get that on Jarvan. There we go. Jarvan always getting Protector's value, by the way. So good. Are we going to hit Quinn 3? So many potential 3-stars. It's the Golden Demacia team. All right, we are up against a Nefiri 3 with the RFC, which is pretty cool, and that Nashor's Tooth. But Jarvan gets a big stun here, which is going to slow it down and give us time to ramp up. You can see that Nefiri's trying to do their best, but the front line just didn't hold up. So, yeah, just can't get through that Galio. Nefiri might need some buffs. We'll see. We'll see. All right, we find a Heimerdinger, but I don't think we need a Heimerdinger for this comp. It's more important to just keep what we have. I'd have to sell the Swain, which at this point I feel like I'm really committed to. So nothing changing here. And again, as long as we get one more win, our egg breaks. So life is good. We're spreading out our elites so these misfortunes don't keep wrecking us. Now remember, because it's Laughter Docs, we're going to get a bunch of rerolls at the start of this, so got to be ready for all these rerolls we're about to get. We find a Jarvan. Trying to figure out our item build here. Some pretty tough choices. There's a Bramble Vest if we want it. We could always go Bramble Vest Last Whisper. Yeah, I like the Bramble Vest on the Swain here. Keeps that super tanky. Gotta use these rerolls, though. The rerolls, by the way, you cannot hold on to. You have to use them. Hey, we finally hit Swain. And we hit Jarvan. And we hit another Jarvan. Okay, I have 4 Jarvans. Gonna go ahead and slam that Last Whisper. So now we've got Shred from Kale and Sunder from the Last Whisper. Should be good. Now, those have been nerfed, but they're still good by all accounts. It's not like you don't not want them. And we win, which means our golden egg should cash out now, which feels pretty good. Beating a level 9 Bilgewater comp. So now if we can get to level 9 and power up this Kale. All right, what do we get? We get 3 artifacts, a duplicator, and a bunch of gold. Spirit Visage on Galio, yes please. Zanya's we can probably just put on Jarvan to make sure Jarvan kind of drops aggro, and then, yeah, this looks pretty solid. If we get the Quinn 3, these are great Quinn items. So I am very well itemized now. Would love a third item on Galio, but otherwise, look at this front line. Plenty of time for Kale to build up. Loving it. And now we even have the duplicator if we wanted to try something crazy like going for a Jarvan 3. Gangplank ult, not doing too much here. That Neela can get really deadly, but thankfully our front line's just so insane here. And you can see, look at the Quinn damage. The Quinn damage, even though it's just a Quinn 2, you know, it is a level 8 Kale, not a level 9 Kale, but that Quinn can pump out the damage. So Quinn's another champion don't underestimate. Cool, I think we just save our gold, try to go to 9 as quick as possible. Trying to position in a way where Jarvan is on the side of my carries. So if I need to, Jarvan can stun things over there. I don't know, this looks really good. Feeling pretty good about this game. I mean, again, we kind of naturaled the Galio and the Kale, and the Swain was close to natural, 8 out of 9, so things went pretty good. Great Jarvan ult. And by the way, you can finally watch this Swain now, casting, gaining some more health, the Gunblade healing it, gaining some more health. So yeah, Swain 3 actually feels like a champion now, which is pretty cool. Pretty happy with that. Like I said, I like this Swain rework a lot. Good job, team. Good job, team. All right, item-wise, honestly, if we have to get the Dragon Claw for Galio, that's fine. Bramble's fine. Gargoyle's fine. Any of these are really good. I personally would like the Dragon Claw just for the healing to go with the Radiant Warmogs. Hell, even the Adaptive Helm would have been fine. We're gonna go with the Bramble though, which kind of makes sense with all the Bilgewater champions. Bilgewater does do physical damage, the trait. So having the Bramble for the extra armor, pretty solid. Now I can go to 9 here, which would make my Kale level 9, but I'm so strong I can probably greed a little bit and hold some gold. I mean, that front line, that Galio and Swain front line looks real good. I think we'll greed a little bit. Maybe go in at 6-1. What do you think? I think so. Cool. 2 away from Quinn. Also an option. Alright, up against a Bilgewater team. That 2-star Cassante is very scary. It hits my Jarvan. We all know how I feel about Cassante lately. Thankfully, Jarvan jumps in. Does knock out one of my champions, but then dies. So, whew. Frickin' Cassante, man. Alright, that's gonna be enough to kill our opponent here. Goodbye, friend. Never feels good to hurt a Poro. We're down to 3 players here. You know, PBE lobbies being what PBE lobbies are. Again, don't really want the Heimerdinger here. Okay. Heimerdinger at 9 actually could work. I'd prefer something like Rise, but Bilgewater Rise is very fun, by the way. So if you get a chance to play Bilgewater Rise with Invokers, give it a shot. It's pretty fun. I think the 2 new Rises are also really fun, so definitely take a look at them. But the Ixtal Rise is hard to play. People are not going to understand its itemization at first. So, all right, we're up against the Last Stand champion. Again, Bilgewater. Because Bilgewater was so contested in this lobby, nothing feels remotely as capped as our board. So I think we'll be okay. You can see the Rise dropping a chest on my Quinn there. But yeah, Swain just tanking it up. Galio tanking it up. Feels good. Again, at this point, we're up an egg of value, so, like, life is good. All right, so again, Slaughter Docks now as we head into stage 6. We're going to get a ton of rerolls here. Rather than deal with that, I'm just going to spend the money now. Because again, I want enough time to do my rerolls, figure out what I'm doing, slam my items. So spending the gold now is fine. Probably should have bought that Fiora, but that's okay. All right, here come those free rerolls. Merged with silver ticket. There's 2 rises. Hopefully we can find another one. There's a Fiora, cool. A Jarvan, great. Another Fiora, gonna hold the Fioras. Another Fiora, Jarvan, okay, 7-6. Quinn. 7-7. 8-7. All right, so we have Jarvan 3 if we want it now. We're gonna put Even Shroud. We didn't really need Even Shroud. There was probably better choices there, but at least it gives Jarvan a little bit of extra tankiness even. So that extra armor and MR for the first 10 seconds of combat is really all we kind of need. And so you can see the enemy board, now that we're level 9, Kale's just pumping out the damage. I can't imagine we lose this. We get a little extra gold from our Rise. We almost have a cursed board state. 8 Jarvans, 8 Quinns, 7 Fioras. Let's see if we can hit it here. Trying to roll. Okay, there's the cursed state, 8-8-8. Rolling, whichever one we hit, we can Nico the other. Come on. Come on, give me one of them. Just one of them, please. Please. Don't make this lame. Oh, come on. Where's my non-lame YouTuber? Hey, there we go. Jarvan, Fiora. Move the items to Fiora real quick. There we go. Jarvan 3, Fiora 3, Swain 3, Galio 3, Quinn 3, Golden Demacia. I think we'll be okay. 18-round win streak. Not quite a Mr. 100, but a really good start to PBE. So let us know what you guys think. Enjoy the testing. I have to imagine we do enough damage here. And sure enough, that's going to be a first. All right, that's going to do it for me. A couple more videos this week before the stream this weekend. Hope y'all enjoy. Until next time, take it easy.